Hey guys, and welcome to podcast 2. So, I did say this would be a weekly thing, and here is your second episode. Thanks for those who listened to number 1. And with all these kind of things, it does take time to build an audience and get people listening. But I guess this week I wanted to cover a subject that just came out of the blue. And it was a question I was asked by somebody. So that question was, what is your biggest fear? And I had to take a little minute to respond to it. And again, when people are asked what their biggest fear is, it could be fear of clowns, could be a fear of spiders, fear of heights. Some people are afraid of dogs and other types of animals. Some people have very rational fears. Some people have a little bit more irrational fears. So, after taking a little bit of time to really analyse the question, what is your biggest fear? For me, it's a fear of failing. And what I mean by that is failing people who I'm trying to help. And that might not make sense, but I want everybody to succeed. And that might be counterproductive in some people's heads, but let's look at it this way. If I am personal training somebody, I want to see them succeed and lose weight. But a lot of personal trainers, they don't want to see other personal trainers be successful because they want the market share. But in my head, if there's 5,000 members in a gym and there's 30 personal trainers, there's more than enough people to go around those trainers. And it's up to each individual trainer to go get their business. It's the same when it comes to tutoring other people to be personal trainers. I don't have anything against other people in the industry. I just have a product that I think is better, that I think people will resonate with. But it doesn't mean that we're the only people out there that you should go with. There are other companies. Again, if it comes down to money, then there's cheaper companies. But we have a product we believe in. And again, I want to help ensure everybody who I'm working with is successful. And every tutor, obviously, at IPT has the kind of same ethos, the same ethics. But that fear of failure, that really comes down to us wanting to see the best. So it really is a genuine fear. And this is the mental thing about it. It comes down to the influence that I personally have on people and the influence the other tutors have and the influence the centre has, because we want to try help as many people as we can. And to put it simply, if I am a personal trainer and I have 20 clients, then that's 20 people I can be teaching skills to, who will probably then have friends and family who they will tell those skills about. So physical, mental, and nutritional. So they're going to get better at doing those kind of things. They might need some more support and so on, but that's your kind of sphere of influence. You've got 20 clients and maybe 2 people each those clients help. So you reach about 60 people just in your kind of camp. When you then become the manager of a gym, you then have influence over the personal trainers. So say you have 10 personal trainers, each reach 60 people. That's 600 people you can directly influence almost. And then you've got the 5,000 members who are going to be influenced by what you do and the decisions you make. So again, sphere of influence grows. And then if you become an area manager, you'll then affect your area. And then a regional manager, you'll affect your region. And you can see how this can exponentially grow. But when we look at it from a centre's perspective, and if I look at it from a personal perspective, I've taught nearly 1,000, if not more, students to be personal trainers. And when you look at those kind of numbers and then realise that's 1,000 people who are out there training people who might be managers, area managers themselves one day, who might just be doing personal training in their area and be the centre and the resource of that area. So that can get into the thousands of people that you're actually influencing. And even if you're maybe on social media and a big name, again, I have worked with people who are kind of not celebrity status, but maybe Z-list celebrities. And again, these people are out there preaching what I taught them. And it's not to say that I want to have an ego or be big-headed about these kind of things, because I don't. But I do want to keep increasing that circle of influence so that we can help people way beyond me being here on this planet. So my fear of failing goes back to a quote that I heard years ago, and I think I brought it up in the last podcast, and that is planting the tree that you'll never see grow so that others can get shade underneath it. And I think that's really important, because we're living in a day and age where we're still in an obesity crisis. We're still seeing people as unhealthy as ever. There's no change. The change that we thought would come as an industry, as a fitness industry, hasn't come yet. And the statistics, as shocking as they are, back that up. So when we looked at the statistics during COVID for how many people had gym memberships, across the entire UK, it was 15% of people. Which makes sense when Pure Gym is the biggest gym provider in the UK, and they only had just over 1 million members at that time. I know that's risen since then, but again, we're not heading really past the 20% mark when it comes to people getting into the gym. So those people who do go to the gym, we also understand some of them are there for health reasons. Some of them are there for aesthetics. Some of them are healthy and just doing their own thing. But genuinely, there is a need for personal trainers, because one, the people who are in the gym just now still need help and support. And then two, there is 80% of the population who still haven't been to the gym yet. Or if they do go or have been, they didn't get the help and support they needed, and that's why they left. That's why such a big percentage of the country has nothing to do with gyms. And even to back that up further, there's only a 5% increase when we actually add on sports clubs. So people who actually go to sports clubs and do exercise that kind of way. So again, not really addressing the problems. We're not addressing the cardiovascular diseases. We're not addressing the obesity disease, or whatever you want to call it. And I think that's where personal trainers have to step in. So going back to the original question, that fear of failure, hopefully I've explored that a little bit better for you. So now you kind of have an understanding of why I have that fear and why I want to see more people helping other people than ever before. It is the grandiose plan of the centre. We are not just in it for money. We are in it because we care. We're in it because we want to see the personal trainers, the students we have succeed. And being somebody who has trained personal trainers in other centres, the big thing missing is understanding. So how the course actually relates to real life. And also, when we look at it, how to go and actually start your business. It's just, there isn't enough explanation, there isn't enough on each element through the course to actually help. And again, there's not going to be any naming of names of these centres, but there could be a lot more that could be done. And that's why myself and the other tutors got together and created this centre. But I digress. So what I really want to speak about is that obviously biggest fear and helping other people. And I guess when I have that kind of mindset of there's enough people out there to help, then you can see straight away why we need more personal trainers. We need to help more and more people. And that's not just in the UK, that is worldwide. We are living in a day and age where the health of the world is not great. So again, this week I was doing a little bit of research, and the next big thing about personal training popped out, and it's all about the European Summit that's coming up soon, the European Fitness Summit. And we're not going to be part of that. We're obviously going to the Dubai Fitness Active. And for the European Summit, what they've done, and the same is going to be in Dubai, but they've invited medical practitioners for the first time to come to the European event. And that's massive. One of the biggest problems we have just in general is people who are unhealthy, if they were training physically, nutritionally, eating better, and just mindful and in a better mind space, then they would have less medical issues. That's fact, that's proven. You know, if somebody's got high blood pressure, you get them to train, do some cardiovascular and exercise in the gym with weights, and the blood pressure will come down. That's just fact. And yes, there is occasions where exercise and nutrition won't be of benefit, but that's why we have general practitioners, we have the GP, they make the decisions. But a GP can't tell you to go and do an exercise regime. They can advise you should do one, but they can't tell you what to do. And that's where there's always been a discrepancy between getting help and, again, that fear of not being able to help enough people. So if the doctor can say going to the gym is a good thing, then the personal trainer should be the next step. The GP should refer the person to a personal trainer. And yes, we actually do have that. It's called GP referral, but they only use it in extreme cases, and not every council actually uses it. So there's a lot of the GP referral courses that just get never used because there's just nobody to be put on the referral scheme. I myself have been on that referral scheme because I broke my knee when I was very young, and I saw it firsthand. And the referral scheme itself wasn't great. I didn't get a personal trainer. I got somebody who gave me a basic program, showed me how to do a few things, and then left me on my own. And I was only 14. So 14, 15, yeah. And yeah, that shouldn't happen. A personal trainer should be there to help somebody who needs the help. And yes, sometimes that comes at a cost, but when it comes to rehabilitation, which was my thing, but more importantly, preventative care, stopping somebody being a drain on the NHS, because that's what a lot of people end up being if they have things that can be sorted by exercise and nutrition. Now, when you come onto the course, you do a section on nutrition at level 2, and you do a full unit at level 3. But one of the big things we cover is that to be somebody who can give a diet plan to somebody, you have to then become a dietitian. And no matter what you are as a personal trainer, you shouldn't be giving a full diet plan to somebody. It can get you into a lot of trouble. It can get you barred from doing what you do. Again, there was a famous case in New Zealand where a boy was actually put in jail, I believe. And you can look this up on Google. He was giving diet plans to people, and mostly it contained shellfish. So prawns was the big thing on the diet plan. And prawns themselves, I like them. Not everybody does, but they're good. They have the good omegas, they have good fats, and they've got a decent amount of protein. So not a bad item, but pretty much the entire diet consisted of it. And eventually somebody got ill because of it, and they sued. And he was struck off being a personal trainer forever. And he wasn't allowed to sell his services, obviously, in nutrition anymore. And I'm pretty sure he got put in jail for 6 months as well. But again, you would need to look that story up. But it is something that can be Googled. So we generally don't want to be giving diet plans to people, but we can give them advice. We can tell them what you should maybe swap out. You know, if you're having a big Chinese meal, even if it's cooked from scratch, it's still going to be quite calorific. So maybe changing a little bit about your portion sizes, and maybe doing a different kind of sauce, or maybe swapping the meal out for a different type of meal and keeping that for a special occasion. You know, there's all sorts of things that we can, as personal trainers, give to our clients to help. And then obviously we give them physical advice and the program and so on. And if they are given that help and support, would they not live healthier lives, happier lives? And that's going to help them. But also, when you think about an adult who has children and they've been taught good habits, those habits are then given down to the next generation. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with personal trainers at our centre as well. We're trying to give on to the next generation so that they are going to be the best they can be, avoiding the pitfalls that we went through as tutors and personal trainers, obviously. So if you go to the GP, you got your personal trainer, you get a program, you get your nutrition. You don't have to go to the hospital because you're fit and healthy for longer. You have children that you can play with and you're not running out of breath all the time. Isn't that what we want to achieve? Now, I personally believe in the future there's going to be a lot more communication with GPs and doctors, with physiotherapists and other types of specialists and personal trainers. I think the thing that holds the industry back at the moment, and this is not just on the kind of personal trainers side, is that doctors, physios, mental health experts, personal trainers, they all speak different languages. And although like we understand a lot about each other's roles, we just don't speak to each other properly. And sometimes that can come across as a personal trainer being not as well educated, or a dietitian not coming across to the personal trainer correct because they haven't explained properly what's going on, or a GP just dismissing a personal trainer because, you know, the GP thinks they know better. And don't get me wrong, it's all a people game, and some people are going to be nicer than others. But I firmly believe in the coming decades of fitness that we are going to start working together to actually help people live healthier, better lives and reduce that stress on our NHS system, at least. And that's exciting. So to see this happen at this summit helps alleviate some of those fears that I have, that I might not be able to help as many people as possible. Because why aren't we working as a big collective to help each other? I don't understand that. It's like if you come to myself or one of the other tutors and ask about our course, and we find out it's not right for you, we're not going to ask you to go on the course. We're going to ask you to go on somebody else's course. Or we're going to tell you maybe today's not the right time, or maybe you should think about doing something else. You know, we want to make sure that it's right for you because we want to help you. And I think when you get all those types of practitioners together, the physios, the doctors and so on, everybody genuinely wants to help. So why aren't we doing it as a collective? It just is beyond me sometimes. And again, when we look around the world at people, and especially when you look at the people who are in charge of health in most countries, they genuinely don't look like the most healthy of peoples. And don't get me wrong, that's not every country, but if you look at the health minister of UK and of some of the European countries, they do not look the healthiest of people. And yes, they may have a lot of things on their plate, and maybe they are struggling themselves with how to do physical exercise and so on. But, you know, I feel if you are in that position, you should be the one that's the leader of that position. You should be highlighting about doing physical exercise, highlighting about having good nutrition. But instead, we still live in a day and age where people are forever saying this is bad for you, that's bad for you, you can't eat too much of this, you can't have too much of that, and trying to restrict people in what they do. So for me, I'm excited to see the future. I'm excited for those people to start working together, for the people who are in charge of health to start changing and actually becoming the leaders they need to be. I'm excited for the fitness industry because with a lot of new personal trainers, there's going to come a lot of new avenues that people can go and get help from. And you have to remember, like, I always like to think about it in terms of tea. And although I don't drink tea myself, which is a good point, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay. That's why there's other people. So when I was a personal trainer and I was doing a consultation and I wasn't getting on with somebody, I would usually refer them to somebody else. And to be fair, that would work best for everybody. Because if I started personal training with somebody who wasn't my cup of tea, they might not get on with me. They might think personal training is a bad idea to do because they've had a bad time with me. And all it took was me to say, I don't think we have the right personality match, but I've got a colleague who would be brilliant for you to work with. And that takes a lot of guts sometimes for a personal trainer to turn around and do, but it is the best thing because everybody does want to help. And if you give a client to another personal trainer, then they will probably return the service to you as well, especially in this day and age where personal training teams actually work better together as teams now. So that's me coming to the half-hour mark almost. So I don't want to keep dragging this on. Obviously, the big fear for me, I've kind of covered that off, and I'd love to speak to other people and hear if that resonated with them. So yeah, please get in touch if you'd like to be featured on the podcast and have a discussion. Again, I love speaking to people and love talking, as you know. So let's think about that moving forward. What's the biggest fear for you? I think you probably have seen the marketing this week from us at IPT explaining that there's only just under 4 months left of this year, and with our main course being 90 days, that's the guarantee that you can get qualified as a personal trainer this year. And again, my biggest fear for a lot of people is they'll miss that. You know, there's a lot of people out there who want to be personal trainers, and if you don't take that step, then you can't get started. You won't be started by the start of January next year. And then how long is it going to be before that step is taken? When we talk about people getting started in the industry, the biggest thing is taking the first step. And as the personal training course is mandatory for you to get a job in the industry, you just need to book your course. Taking that first step is going to be massive. And whether you take that with us or not, it doesn't matter. If you're listening to this and you're looking to do personal training and we're not the centre for you, that's okay. I just hope I can help you make that judgment call and go and book your course if you're really interested and if you want to do it this year. There's only a small other option of what you can do, and it'll cost more money, and that is to do the 6-week intensive courses that you see out there, and that is something we'll bring in next year. But right now, if you want to be a personal trainer before 2024, this is the time to book your course. And I say that not to try get sales. I say that because if you're listening to this, you're probably interested in personal training. You're probably interested in going and being one. So please, if you've got that interest, if you want that as your career, go and book now and get started before 2024. You want to be in that gym environment in January. It's not when most of the sales occur, so that's the great thing. But you want to be there for when the rush comes in of people who have those New Year's resolutions. So, again, if your biggest fear is spending money on the course because you don't know what's going to happen as a personal trainer, don't worry about it. Certainly in our centre, we have the business course that is so in-depth that we're actually making it a 2-day course, and that sets you up for your business and how to get clients and how to set up as a business and so on. So if that alleviates your fear, great. But again, get started. That's my biggest advice, because you don't want to have regret. And if you have any other fears about getting started in the personal training business or the fitness industry, because you might not want to be a personal trainer in person. You could be looking at online training, opening your own unit, and so on. So, and again, personal training for some will be just something they want to learn and something they never do much with. We're there to cater for all, but we want to make sure everybody has success with whatever they do off the back of the course. So come and have a chat. That's all we want to do, is have a chat with you if you think you need it. And if not, then, maybe the course isn't for you, or maybe it's just one of those things that you want to do and you'll never do it. But we're now at the stage of the year where if it really is your passion, if it really is the thing you want to do, your burning desire, you have to get started now. It's going to be hard to get qualified if you don't. And this is coming from somebody who has taught numerous people to be personal trainers, and people always struggle to do the course when they're left to do it by themselves. And if you take on the 90-day course, you're obviously getting taught how to do the course, how to do the work, how to understand what you're actually getting given in those manuals, how it's fleshed out and relates to real life personal training. That's all something we help you with. But if you're left by yourself, then typically the course can take 12 months all the way up to never getting done. And we don't want to see that. So help me with my fear and let me help people. And hopefully that's yourself as well. And help yourself if you have some fears about the training course. Come and speak to us. And until next time, please drop us a message if you want to chat about anything we spoke about today, or if you'd like to see us talk about other topics next week. Please just let us know, and we will speak again then. Till next week, have a good one, guys.